Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Este es Jesús Hoyos de CRM en Latinoamérica y hoy nos encontramos en Conversaciones de CRM y estoy empezando inglés, pero tenemos a Fernanda Nascimento, que ella está en Brasil y estuvimos discutiendo si hacíamos esto en Spanglish, en Porto-Spanglish, Portuñol, español o inglés, y lo vamos a hacer en inglés porque yo creo que así nos vamos a entender mejor. Estuvimos así, a lo mejor íbamos a hacerlo en Spanglish, ¿no? Pero vamos a hacer esto en inglés. So now I'm going to switch to English. Fernanda Nascimento, thank you for joining me. How you doing today?
I'm so happy that we are together here, Jesus, really. And the opportunity of talking to, people that I don't know yet, because now we are connected, is very exciting to me. I'm sure that we are learning together lots of good points today.
Perfect. So just a few disclaimers, we're live, things might happen. So keep in mind, something happens, we're going to come back. Right now we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and eventually this is going to be on Instagram and on my podcast channels as well. One quick thing before I do the formal introduction of Fernanda. I met Fernanda probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, a little bit more than that,
Yeah.
during the SAP virtual event, Sapphire, the global event. So globally, we were, I think, the only two from Latin America, specific for the CX group. And she has a lot of expertise in social selling in Latin America. So that's why today we're going to be talking about, social selling in Latin America. So Fernanda, tell us a little about yourself, what you do, so we can start, the conversation.
I'm a specialist, a digital specialist. I started my professional life being a marketing professional, but I'm still, I still is. I am, and in the last 7 years, I am dedicating my efforts to understand a bit better the B2B digital marketing. Not only the environment, but also I'm trying to understand how the customer is changing in B2B, so we can apply better techniques and better strategies to reach this customer, not for convincing him that he needs to buy from me, but to understand what he needs and offers him the best I can to be closer to this customer, to be more effective and more interesting to him. Because I do believe, Jesus, that there will be no space to every B2B salesman in the market. So, a choice is coming, and I want to be chosen.
Yeah, very interesting. So let's put this in perspective, Fernanda, because what is social selling? Because in the market, there's a lot of confusion between B2B social selling, now direct to consumer social selling. You have the hardcore, direct to consumer digital selling, which is not social selling, and it happens that to be in there. And now, there's a lot of comparisons out there between B2B versus B2C. And yeah. I know, before we started doing the live stream, you mentioned that we are persons, we are people, so yeah. What is this? What is social selling all about?
Social selling is a group of techniques where you use your personal branding. What means that you need to have a very strong image as a specialist to get in touch with decision makers mostly. It's not talking to like the analyst to then have a meeting with the supervisor and then a meeting with the manager and finally with the director who is going to sign the contract. It's being strong enough to get the attention of the director and convince him, not convince, I don't like convince, but showing him how you can strategically work with him as a partner, a good partner that can bring results. And then you shorten the life cycle, the sales life cycle, and you also can increase your average ticket and have a most I would say concrete pipeline, not smoke pipeline, because in the first day of the month, you have strong pipeline, and the last day everything is gone, smoke pipeline. No, very strong from the beginning to the end. Things that are, you can have confidence, leads that you can have confidence on them. That's social selling. But you use, actually, sorry, Jesus, just to add, you use your digital image, your social networks for doing social selling. That's what was missing, right? This strong image and contact and rich decision makers. You use your social networks for doing that.
So what would be the difference? Because you mentioned it's a group of techniques, and we're very warm in Latin America. There's always the hug, there's the kiss or the two kisses, the pat on the back, twice or three times, the second handshake, the second hug, and you go to the meeting and say, you haven't hugged me, where's my high five, and that happens a lot, when we meet each other, at the elevator, when we go to dinner, when we meet social, for a parrilla, having a good, Brazilian steak, or watching a soccer game. Sorry, Argentina won last week, but how do you translate all that into truly social selling? Is you never replace that. It's a complement. It works together. How that works?
I would say that we use four pillars to build social selling. The first one is your personal branding. As I said, you need to be someone that worth to connect to. So I won't have a decision maker connecting to me if I don't seem to him that I can bring opportunities, I can give him insights, I can show something new. I need to add value to his network. So my personal branding is very important on that. I need to be someone like a referral, an authority, a person that when you follow me, you understand that I know about my field, my working field. Secondly,
so that means that no matter what, every salesperson or every person who's selling whatever, influencing, needs to have some level of personal branding.
Yes, that's it. You know why? Because nobody goes, for instance, to LinkedIn for connecting to companies. We go to LinkedIn for connecting to people. If I want to talk to any company, SAP, as you said, or Nestle, or Volkswagen, I need to find someone there that I can connect to, and then I'll be in the company. I can see the opportunities we have together.
So it's very key, even though you might be afraid of social media or you have issues with privacy, that at least you need to have some level of personal branding. You have to. That has to be a requirement. A very minimal, but you need to have some level of personal branding.
Definitely. And you can, I'll give you an example. If you go to my LinkedIn, you have my resume, complete resume. Everything that I've done in my career is there. However, if you go to my Instagram or to my Facebook, you don't even know if I have kids, because I don't like posting my kids. I'm afraid of security. You don't know where I live. You only know that I live in São Paulo, but you don't know where I live. Where's my? I don't even take pictures of my window because I'm afraid of people recognizing where, the location of my home. So there are you can make yourself a sort of analysis on what makes you more vulnerable or not, what information can be shared or not, because sharing the information on companies I worked with, it's not confidential and something that people can know. It's not a problem for my security, for instance. But showing the neighborhood where I live, I think it's more risky. So I think we need to understand LinkedIn and all information that LinkedIn requires, even if it's personal, it's not to do with where you live, who is your family, who are you married to, and who is your mother, your father. So I think you can choose.
Yeah, I have my personal profile and I have my professional profile, and I try not to mix them.
Mix it.
Sometimes there's a gray area, but I'm not, I try to keep them separately, so that's, but
And
at
it's
least.
very difficult, and it's very difficult to keep it separately. So if you make the decision, I made the decision of being someone known by the market, but for my profession, not my personal information, because it's difficult to separate both.
No, it is. But the bottom line, you need to have some sort of a minimal branding, to start doing this. So what will be the second pillar?
The second pillar is authority. How you prove to people, not how to prove, but how you make people understand that you are good, that you can add value to the relationship, that is worthy to connect to you. That's it. So there is only one way of showing people what you know and leaving them recognize you as an influencer, as an authority, as someone important in the market. If you share content, if you don't show people what you know, people are not going to recognize you as you want it to be.
Another difficult thing to do, share the content. I mean, that's a challenge that many brands have. So as a salesperson, again, that's another critical point of how you're going to share that content. It's my own content, it's the content of the company. It's difficult as well.
Yeah,
but it's a required. It is a requirement.
It's a required, and I would add some pepper in this mix here, because the content is not about you or your company. The content needs to be about the person you want to connect to. Why, Jesus? Because nobody goes to LinkedIn or to Instagram or to Facebook or to Twitter to see a brand or to see specifically someone. I don't wake up and say, hey, let's see what Jesus is posting today. It's not like this. I go to the networks and think, hey, let's see if there is an opportunity for me today. Let's see if there's something that I can use in the meeting that I'm going to have with my boss, something that some insight that I can, say an insight. And he says, oh, Fernanda, that's great. I think we can use it. We go looking for, things that we decide as a person, not as a professional, as a person, something that needs to be good for me, not for my brand or for the company that I represent. And I would say to you, that's the leapfrog for a good content, because if I don't read about myself, if what's in the social media, what is shared as a content doesn't talk to my own ambitions, I don't engage, because, it's not what I'm looking for. And the algorithm is with me as a consumer, because the algorithm is showing me more of the same I used to read. He's offering to me what I like to consume. So I would say, Jesus, if you are reading about cats and I post about dogs, the algorithm is not showing my content to you. That's the first obstacle that we have. I need to talk to the algorithm. I need to be nice to the algorithm so he recognizes me and shows me to the person I want to touch. And if I can, let's say that I break the algorithm with ads, for instance. Jesus, if you're reading about cats and I show you dogs, and doesn't talk to you, you just scroll up the screen because it's not what you're looking for. So I think that's very important to pay attention to. What your customer, the person you want to connect to, is reading, is consuming, is saying. It does not depend on the format of the content. Of sure that that the social networks, they now we know that Instagram wants more videos, more reels than pictures. He said, hey, if you're a content producer, I want to see reels. Don't come to me with, If you come to me with pictures, you're going to be there. But if you come with the reels, I'm going to give you more evidence. LinkedIn, we know LinkedIn loves videos as well. So if I post videos, my reach is going to be higher than an image. However, the message, what is in the content, makes all the difference for engagement. So I can have some relevance accordingly to the format, but if the message doesn't talk to my customer, I don't build my authority.
Okay, so definitely authority has to be, it goes hand by hand with content. So what will be another pillar?
Network. We used to say that we have 6 degrees of separation, right? But now with LinkedIn, I can talk to anybody in the world. If the person is there in LinkedIn, I see who can introduce me to this person. I have different tools. I have email. So I'm able now to reach whoever I want to reach. And my network can support me. I'm sure, Jesus, if I see someone in LinkedIn that is connected to you and I come to you and say, hey, Jesus, I'd love to talk to this person that you are that is your connection. And what I'm offering this person is like to, a course or a consultancy. And Jesus, do you feel comfortable to help me introducing me to this person or not? And you feel welcome to say no to me as well. No problem. If you don't feel comfortable to introduce me to this person, it's okay. That's part of the game. But you can say a yes, but you have like 25-30% of a possible yes. So my conversion rate is greater here because you know who this person is. Maybe you say to me, Fernanda, I don't know this person. It's a follower. Don't know how this person came to my connections. Or you can say, Fernanda, I know this person, but I don't feel comfortable. But you also can say, Fernanda, when I was in Brazil, some years ago, this person went to a dinner with me. Something that I don't know about you, but it's quite, it's a probability that is good. That you met this person, in fact, and if you talk to this person say, yes, Jesus, I'd like to talk to Fernanda, or no, Jesus, I wouldn't talk to Fernanda because it doesn't interest to me. But I need to take into consideration those particularities of relationships that are not in LinkedIn or in Instagram, that are not shown, but there is live, behind the scenes. And if you don't ask people, hey, could you do that for me, Jesus? I will never know.
So networking on LinkedIn and any other social media means that you have to start somehow, having that conversation. Introduce me, connect, follow through that process. So when you see these pillars, assuming, I don't know if there's more pillars.
There is one more.
Okay, go ahead. So I can follow up with the questions.
The last pillar is communication.
Wow. That was my next question. Good, perfect. We didn't plan this, by the way.
So we are aligned. No, it was not in our behind the scenes. And you know what? Because Jesus, tell me how many emails you received during those last 15 months. Like this. Hi, Jesus. My name is Fernanda. I'm from Stratlab, a consultancy company that offers agency as well, and we are generating beautiful results to all our customers. Like your company, I also work with company A, B, C, and I'm very sure that if we talk, we are going to find an opportunity that is going to revolution your world. Could you talk to me next week?
I have already 200 of them this morning.
It's we do it with humor, but in fact, when you ask a salesperson to build an email, there is no other way. We don't know how to do an email based on the customer. CX was what put us together, right, Jesus?
Yeah.
So if you think about CX, an email like this that is all focused on me and how good I am and how I can do great for you and I'm the right partner. I'm the most beautiful in the world. It doesn't work. But we don't know how to do it differently because we were taught to do like that for decades. For decades we are, learning how to talk about the best in ourselves. And if I am in social media and if I'm consuming content, not worried at all with the other, but totally with myself, if you come to me and talk about you, the chance that you have of reaching my heart is minimum. I don't engage with something that said, when you talk about yourself and how beautiful you are, I want you to talk about me and the problems that I have, because it's for that I'm in the social media, looking for solutions for my problems. And sometimes, parenthesis here, sometimes people send me emails like this script that I told you first, selling me digital marketing. And I think to myself, why didn't this person look at my profile? Because it's a worth of time or a worth of tool if it's an automation tool. But the point is the conversion rate, the positive answers are like 1.5%, 2% if you have a great result. Doesn't work like this anymore. And when you do a personal message, and personal message doesn't mean change the name like that field that is, how would I say in English? I forgot the name in English, but that is that you can change the name, like first name. It's not personalization just because you use the first name of the person. The message needs to be driven to the person. If I do like this, very driven, very personalized, customized, my positive answer rate is 35%. It's much, much higher. Because, go on.
No, because, there's, the communication is really key, because, sometimes I want to, compare that when you go to a trade show and you go to a booth, it's like, well, I get your business card. And they get your business card. Well, somebody's going to get in contact with you and, go over here, do a demo, but you don't engage the person, or they'll give you, the business card, and we're going to do, a raffle and come back because you're probably going to win, a hat or, a mug or something, and you're not truly communicating, you're just creating more noise, and that's what a lot of people are doing, creating a lot of noise. And this happens to me a lot, and again, this could go both B2B and B2C, but I go and download a lot of the white papers and the Gartner reports and Forrester from all these vendors, and a lot of these vendors, they already engaged with me. I'm already part of the analyst program, influencer program, and the vendor calls me, send me an email and say, Jesus, I saw your website and I would like to see that, my CRM solution will help you do this, do that, whatever. And I go, hello, you don't know me yet? And you're trying to do this? And I'm already in your database, And that takes me apart. And that will be my next question, because a lot of, you mentioned before that you had done training in Brazil, United States, and Germany. And I deal with all customers from all over the world, and sometimes I ask myself, the question, how digital are these people out there? And that's my question to you, because if we put these pillars together, are we digital enough in Latin America to follow this? This is more a cultural mindset as individual, as a brand, has something to do because I'm in Brazil versus I'm in Mexico or Europe or somewhere in Canada. What that means. Are we really digital in Latin America?
I would say that we are going to be more digital in the next 12 months, but we are much, much better than we were 12 months ago. Pandemic, of course, speeded up this digital behavior in Latin America. I would say to you that I was working with rest of Latin America, not only Brazil, but Brazil and the rest of Latin America before the pandemics. And Brazil was much more engaged with digital tools than rest of Latin America. But now the rest of Latin America is speeding up, definitely, because, I don't need to tell you the reasons. We are more digital now. And there is something very interesting, Jesus, in here is that we are very good as consumers. I won't say as suppliers, but as consumers, we know exactly what we want. The time you want, the way you want. And if the brand doesn't attend me the way I expect it to attend me, I know how to make his life, a piece of hell. But now we understand that we are providing the same, I would say, I need to surprise my customer the same way I want to be surprised by the brands that attend me. And it doesn't matter if it's B2C or B2B, because I'm consumer, like I'm a person. And if Apple is pampering me as a consumer, a B2C consumer, when I buy, I would like, let's say, a machine for my industry, I want to be pampered the same because I like the way Apple treats me. I want to be treated the same here in B2B. I would add something else in here. If I buy in Amazon or here in Latin America, we've been very well served by Mercado Libre. If I buy with them and now I choose that I want the item to be delivered in 2 hours. If I buy a machine, a $2 million machine, I don't want to receive it in 3 months. I want to receive it next week.
Yesterday.
The expectations are changing. And we need to catch up with the customer's expectations. You know why? Because someone else is going to do that. Forrester, you said, I love working with Forrester. And also Gartner, Forrester, McKinsey, all those companies that are giving us provisions, they are telling us that the customer is demanding more and more. And I know that because I am a customer. So now we started to transform our suppliers. And I do like that. So I see that very clearly in the rest of Latin America. I see that very clearly in Brazil. I would say to you that the demand on personal branding support and content support by the brands and by the professionals, main leaders, like key decision makers, it's growing in a very strong way in Latin America. It means that if the key decision maker wants to have a better personal brand in the networks, if he wants to build authority, it means that he's available for dealing. He's available for buying from me. He's available for selling. And it's going to hit up the market somehow. So 6 more months and we are going to be in a very better shape.
This is very interesting because, lately, I've been seeing a lot, these algorithms and social media throwing out the word, emerging markets, and
you said.
And I started to get annoyed because I know of many companies who are doing some really cool stuff. But I want to put this in perspective, of how digital we are because, I live in Florida, but I spend most of my time in Mexico City for many years, many years. And, I used to have an apartment over there and I used to work, in the Santa Fe area. And, my day will be, I'm going to use Uber, Waze, okay? When I'm in the neighborhood, I will walk out and find something to eat, okay? But on the way back, because of traffic, we'll do my Uber, use Corner Shop, which already was bought by Uber now, and corner shop. I will do my grocery. This is before the pandemic, and my grocery will go to multiple supermarkets. Okay, the person will call me, Jesus, this cotton meat or this particular apple, this they don't have it. Let me show you what you have. No, take this one, take that one, and they, and they would deliver on me by the time that I get to the apartment. Okay, when I get to the apartment, I say, you know what? I feel that I don't want to cook. Let me order out at the Uber, or use Rappi back then to do the delivery. And they say, oh, I forgot, I need to do my laundry. And I don't have the time. We use, I forgot the name of the app back then. This is 3-4 years ago. This is my routine, And I go, oh my cow, holy cow, we're digital. I'm digital. I'm using this.
Yeah.
And an amount of motorcycles and bicycles and cars delivering, And of course, we have an issue in Latin America with the last mile, but because we are not 100%, using our money with traditional retail banks. We're using Mercado Pago and all these other fintechs, which are now unicorns, and we are using messaging to do e-commerce in Latin America because we don't like to use the phone. So there's some cool stuff that we're doing in Latin America that are helping us to become digital. And listening to you, we as salespeople, B2B or B2C, we need to be sure that definitely we have these 4 pillars. So my question to you, what technologies besides what technology should a salesperson use? Besides WhatsApp, which is obvious, and LinkedIn Navigator, which I use personally. What other technologies out there a salesperson can use to become more digital or to do social selling?
Well, there are some that I like, and but I do prefer to use a set of like basic tools. Then when you get used to them, and then go to new tools, to add new tools afterwards. If you put all the tools together, you won't use them all, and you're just spending your money. What I think is, first, you said about Sales Navigator, that for me, I don't live without Sales Navigator. Why? Because it's a sort of separate social network, using the same basis as databases as LinkedIn, but in a way that I organize what I'm going to see. What Sales Navigator has that for me is the best is not the filter that I have a beautiful filter in Sales Navigator where I can decide the people that I want to find. What is the position? What is the number of decision makers? How many people they have in some department, and what else? The head count. What's the number of head count? What's the location? Where this person? Where the people studied? Lots of possibilities for filter. Everything that I insert in my personal profile in LinkedIn is available. Mostly everything is available as a filter. So it can be very, very, niched. One of the things that I think that's more brilliant is which keywords the person is using in the content. So, as we said, I use cats and I'm going to reach Jesus, right? Accordingly to my example. So it's a very beautiful filter. I can also save leads, even if I'm not first degree connection with the person. I can save the person in a leads list, and I only see in my timeline in a chronological way the leads that I saved. So it means that I can see what people are posting quickly and use this content to open conversations, what helps my communication with them. So filter and this separate timeline for me is what LinkedIn has the greater. However, you can also connect LinkedIn with a CRM, that I do believe that we need to have a CRM, even if a simple one with less resources. We need to have a simple CRM to organize your life and to do a very good, not only a good nurturing to your lead, but also to do not miss the steps of this nurturing, because even if Forrester and Albertine as well, they say that the customer is probably accepting talking to you in the 5th or 60th touch. We leave the customer in the second touch. Like, I send an email, the person doesn't answer me back, I just leave. I go to another one and I leave this person. See, I need to touch 5 times, 6 times, and then I can let it go if it doesn't work. So I think it's very important to have this process, and the CRM is very helpful to the process. So those 2 tools are great. I would use a third one as a basic tool, that is a listening tool, social listening tool, to understand what people are talking about in my field. What are the keywords? What the people are looking for? What should I talk and write about to have a better reach of my content and more touches with people I want to connect to? So you can use simple ones. HubSpot has a very good one. There are some that are very specific that talk to LinkedIn. I don't use too many international tools. I use some Brazilian tools here in the company, but HubSpot, Hootsuite, what else? Every marketing automation tool has their own social listening arm, I would say. So it's important. Or if I don't have any of those tools, I can use Keyword Planner from Google Trends, open tools that are free. But it's important that you see what people are consuming.
Actually, because my next question, you mentioned, for me to generate content and communicate with others, I have all the above, So, and you mentioned a bunch of tips and hacks, throughout the conversation. But what will be your top tip or hack, when using social, a tactic? Because what will be the most important tactic that you will suggest people to do when doing social selling?
I observe people. I have key people that I want to follow. Those ones that I think that they represent my persona. And it's a lot of work, but it does worth. I have those people that I just follow, so I know who they are, and I do that with Sales Navigator, and I observe them like oh goodness me, like a sort of I forgot the name, but I'll remember. I get there observing the person to understand the right moment to shoot. Like a sniper. So I put the person in my target, and I keep observing, when this person publishes a content that I'm able to talk about, that I'm a specialist on. And when I talk about networking, Jesus, and we are using social media tools, making comments, sharing content, other people's content, giving a like or any other reaction. That is very supportive. It connects people, because when I post something in my profile, Jesus, there is no day. I keep all the time, looking at the number of views, if someone commented, and if I need to answer back, and blah, blah, blah. Everybody does that. I'm not different from the other people. Nobody comes to LinkedIn or to Instagram and post something and say, I don't care about what I posted. No, we prepare ourselves to do that. So, of course, I'm going to see people that engage with my content. So I engage it with other people's content, mainly those ones I want to connect to.
Yeah, well, I think the engagement is critical, and my advice here is engagement doesn't have to be on a comment as well. It could be offline. So one of the tools that I use, I use one of these calendar appointment scheduler, and I bring the conversation, and in a one-to-one. Now, because of COVID, live streaming or Teams and Zoom and so on. But before, for me, was the meetups. And I do remember doing 2 meetups, in Brazil, in San Pablo, and then Porto Alegre as well, because of the we're going to meet, word of mouth, and we'll engage people like that, and tons of, taco nights in Mexico as well through that engagement, and I think that's very important. One of the things that I do, because I do use Self Navigator, and I have it integrated, with my CRM, and I was doing a cleanup actually this weekend, because I think going back to what you were saying, the personal branding, the authority, network, and communication is that you need to have time, and driving back from vacation, I connect my computer and I start replying to all my LinkedIn messages, and I have it was Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, tons of meetings, because exactly doing many of the things that you were recommending here, that for me, is already here, but what would be a recommendation? Because, a lot of people, like we were talking before, if they want to do, social selling, and they want to do the next steps, and I know you mentioned the 4 pillars, and you can have, your personal, and you can have your own, your branding profiles. If I'm a salesperson, or I'm a company who wants to help my, sales rep do social selling, B2B or B2C, and you want to be out there, what will be the first thing that they need to do? Not, the tools are out there. Latin America is very digital, but I don't know. I don't want to be social yet. I'm still shy even in person. I'm the one who sits in the corner. Yeah, I will talk to that person. Have a beer. Whatever. But I'm gonna take it slow. By to do the introductions. What will be the first step to do to start doing social selling?
Establishing a process. You need to have a process because you need discipline to make it work. And those days are so crazy when the week starts, and when you see it finished and the other week starting again. So if you don't work step by step, you don't have very clear what we need to do every day, what happens is that the month is gone and you didn't do a thing. So process is key for giving the attention that social selling needs to have to make results. And believe me, Jesus, the results are so good. Sometimes, we reach results that might, I work with lots of teams, sales teams, and sometimes we reach some results that I say, hey, really, we did really, I was not expecting it to be that big, that great. And we do. And if you tell me, Fernanda, when you get surprised with the result, what are you talking about? That you did twice the objective? No, I'm telling you that we did 100 times the objective sometimes, because I can increase the average ticket. For instance, if my average ticket is like 100,000 US dollars, big. But I'm talking to someone from the operations, someone that is very ops. And from that point on, I can prove the strategical value of my solution to someone that is giving the bonus at the end of the year, not for the productivity, but for the P&L. So if I can prove they can touch in a very good way the P&L, I sell a better pack. I sell more, a more complex solution, so I can add value to my deal, but also proving that I can add value to the decision maker. That's why we focus on the decision maker, because my sale can be more strategic when I focus on the. So it works because and that's why the average ticket gets higher when I do social selling, and also the results are much bigger.
Perfect, Fernanda. So let me do here. We have like 3, 4, 5 minutes to go. So let me do a quick summary, and then I'll let you do the tell us the last word here. Social selling is a group of tactics that you need to be sure that you have, like you just mentioned, a process. You need to have consistency. You have to have discipline. We are 100%, in a digital, era. So, you have to start doing this if you are not doing, this. And you mentioned 4 big pillars. You need to have some level of personal branding. Okay. You need to have authority. Okay. Which means, you talk about content. You have to be consistent with your content, you need to be able to develop that network and be out there, engaging, doing that. But your personal branding, your authority and network won't work if you don't know how to communicate that offline and online. So that's very key. And also you mentioned, some basic tools, besides WhatsApp, because we know that we're using WhatsApp, and there's email marketing, a bunch of other tools, and, but definitely focus on basic stuff, Sales Navigator, your basic CRM, a listening tool, understand keywords. That's very important, because that's how you know what message you're going to put out there, and you need to be able to do all this because you need to engage. If you don't engage, you won't be able to do it. So did I capture everything more or less?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it better.
So Fernanda, tell us, your last advice and how people can find you. Of course, in LinkedIn, Fernanda Nascimento. But tell us the last word. What you want to communicate to my audience?
I think there are 2 things that they are not advices, but an advice actually. But first, understand your customer and position yourself as someone that can help him or her. I think that's what I like to leave. Understand your customer and position yourself as someone that can add value, can help, know the right answers.
Perfect. And even though you're in Brazil and you're multilingual, you can help people everywhere, because I know you're a social selling, global. So follow her, reach out to Fernanda.
Yeah, thank you. Connect to me.
Connect to her. Actually, one more question, because you connect and follow. Which one is better in LinkedIn?
If you want to talk to this person, if you want to have this person in your network, connect. If you just want to receive what this person is posting and the insights, follow. But for us, it's better when people to have more followers than connections, because connections are limited and followers are not. So we have the possibility of 30,000 connections only, and followers is unlimited. So that's why. Which is one or other.
So if you want to know more, you have to connect and follow Fernanda on LinkedIn.
Yeah, do that. If you are Jesus' friend, you're gonna be my friend as well. Jesus, thank you very much for the opportunity of being here with you. Thanks.
No, thank you. No, so to let everybody go. So this has been Conversaciones de CRM con Jesús Hoyos. And today we had Fernanda Nascimento from Stratlab, Inteligência Digital. Okay, I don't know if that was Spanish or Portuguese, but I think I said
That's
okay.
perfect.
Perfect. So, este es Jesús Hoyos de CRM Latinoamérica. Ya saben, esto está en LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, eventualmente en Instagram, y mi podcast. Así que nos vemos este viernes tomando café con Jesús Hoyos, que vamos a tener a la gente de Soho CRM. y les quiero avisar que vamos a tener 2 o 3 conversaciones de CRM y luego voy a tomar un break de un mes y luego regreso, pero voy a seguir tomando café todos los viernes. Así que hasta la próxima. Fernanda, abrigado, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Okay?
I thank you.
Hasta la próxima. Póntese bien, y cuídense.
Sí.